This really tugs at my heartstrings for Ariana. Scheana mentioned, there were moments where they were all over each other in public, making out, and then he has to undermine their relationship once again. It's reminiscent of the discomfort I felt with the t-shirt comment he made last season. And what's with all the strange sexual remarks during this reunion? It gave me the creeps. The comment about him and Katie banging it out was incredibly bizarre. Does he only view women through a sexual lens? It felt uncomfortable and completely unrelated to Andy's chemistry comment. Chemistry doesn't always have to be sexual. He seems to lack any self-awareness. The whole season revolves around him cheating on his girlfriend, yet he thinks it's a good idea to joke about sleeping with another one of his ex-girlfriend's friends. Sandoval may be a mess, but consider this. Schwartz just sat there with no response after Katie expressed how much Sandoval dislikes her, making him the biggest villain. She might always have love for him, but he's honestly worse than Sandoval and Jax in my opinion. No amount of hurt she expresses seems to affect him. He immediately denied that Sandoval's constant badmouthing influenced his feelings toward her. Screw Schwartz. It's heartbreaking how he undermines Ariana's intimacy. Wasn't this the kind of relationship he wanted? The adventurous, spontaneous kind, but now he's using it against her? My heart aches for Ariana. His little jabs to hurt her further and reveal his true character all aired for the world to see. It just feels repulsive. My heart also shattered when Ariana mentioned, "We were in couples therapy," amidst the chaos of debating whether her relationship with Tom was genuine. It was real to Ariana, and it's infuriating that she has to keep defending it. Wasn't he begging her to do fun stuff like that? It seems like his excuse for being with Rachel was because Ariana wasn't fun to him anymore. He's truly revolting to his core. It's insane that he said that as a jab, when in season 10, he was pleading with Ariana for more quality time to do drugs together and go out. If going out to do drugs is his idea of quality time as a couple, then him and Ariana making out while rolling at a music festival is the epitome of quality couple time. Did you notice his eye roll when Ariana mentioned that Dan didn't want to be on the show? As if no one could genuinely love Ariana unless they were using her. He's malicious to the core. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Spill Chronicles. It's me, Ramona here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. On the other hand, is anyone else feeling the urge to disengage from the show? I've finally figured out why I can't seem to enjoy it anymore. Watching this show feels like trying to argue with a narcissist. It's becoming increasingly clear that we, the audience, are being manipulated. There's no scenario where Ariana is the antagonist this season, yet we're consistently being told otherwise through the mouths of producers and the editing. Personally, this is evoking the same sense of defeated resignation I experienced while being manipulated in an abusive relationship. I don't have the energy to keep defending Ariana. We all know she's not at fault. The producers are engaging in bad faith arguments. They're intent on painting Ariana as the villain, and they'll resort to anything to achieve it. They thrive on our outrage because it means we're still watching and invested. It saddens me that I no longer find joy in my once favorite show, and I'm saddened further that I probably won't tune in for the next season. It's just too distressing to witness Ariana being bullied by the producers every week simply for asserting boundaries. But discovering this subreddit and reading all your insightful posts has been a breath of fresh air. You all provide the real voice of reason this season. Thank you for keeping me grounded and preventing me from feeling like I'm losing my sanity every week. I came across some photos from Mesa's opening, and I noticed film cameras there. I dare to hope that another production company or network might pick it up as a show. It would be wonderful to witness their success and see a woman-owned business thrive. I don't believe Evolution or Bravo is capable or willing to showcase genuinely happy, successful women. Ariana and Katie shouldn't have to associate with the rest of the problematic VPR cast anymore. I certainly won't be watching without them. However, the emotional reunion moment between Schwartz and Katie hasn't received much attention, neither in posts nor in podcasts. What are your thoughts on it? Personally, I'm torn. Schwartz was a terrible spouse, but you can still sense the lingering love between them. It's heartbreaking in a way. This season seemed to showcase more chemistry between them than when they were actually together. I'm not suggesting a reconciliation. I just wish Schwartz had prioritized differently and been a better partner. I believe she'll always be the one who got away. Schwartz's overall demeanor makes me melancholic. He really mishandled things with Katie, yet he distances himself from it and resorts to saying hurtful things about her in certain company. Even as her friend, he fails to support her. Katie hit the nail on the head. He may have loved her, but it seems he never truly liked her. It's disheartening to see them interact, because although he claims to still love and care for her, it's evident he lacks respect for her. Personally, I don't feel conflicted about their situation. It simply confirms what many of us suspected. They loved each other, but for whatever reason, Schwartz couldn't muster the commitment necessary for the relationship to thrive. The harsh reality of adulthood hits when you realize the fairy tale notion of love conquers all is a fallacy. Even deeply loving individuals break up due to timing, personal traumas affecting the relationship, incompatible habits or behaviors, and so on. Perhaps Katie's assertion from last year rings true. Schwartz loved her, but he didn't like her enough to prioritize her above all else. It was a poignant moment, and I'm glad they've reached a better place compared to Ariana and Sandoval. Despite their love, Schwartz consistently mistreated Katie. He belittled her, failed to defend or respect her, and allowed his friends to do the same. He caused her profound hurt. Perhaps he'll regret it someday, if he doesn't already, but fundamentally, he remains unchanged from their time together. She could never go back expecting anything different because he hasn't grown or evolved. Her growth surpassed his, making her the one who moved on. However, saying she's the one that got away doesn't resonate with how most guys think. We don't typically view situations in those terms. Schwartz probably just wishes she'd tolerate his behavior and stay put. That's the extent of it. Additionally, the revelation that Ariana is being sued by her ex-boyfriend's mistress is truly unsettling. When she mentioned in part 3 of the reunion that Rachel won't stop talking about her, it's not merely confined to Rachel's podcast, which would already be agonizing for anyone trying to recover from such a betrayal. Ariana is actively facing legal action from Rachel simply for uncovering the affair. So when Ariana confronted Tom at the reunion, saying "you did this," it goes far beyond mere infidelity. Tom's actions have triggered ongoing financial and reputational harm to Ariana. This added context to the reunion should have given Lala, Scheana, and Brock considerable pause before continuing their anger towards Ariana for not conforming to the performance they expected months ago. It seems that because Ariana tends to suffer in silence and solitude, not just recently, the more vocally aggrieved cast members don't seem to take her issues seriously or extend to her the level of empathy they expect for themselves. Consider how Ariana and Lala handled the passing of their fathers during previous seasons. It appears that Lala, Sandoval, Brock, and Scheana have been rather insensitive and oblivious to the gravity of Ariana's situation, perhaps blinded by jealousy over her recent opportunities since news of the affair broke. Why Sandoval continues to make digs at her is perplexing. It might be time for him to dig deeper into his own actions, but if I were his publicist, I'd advise him to simply refrain from speaking about it altogether. Moreover, Lala has been harping on about honesty and authenticity all season long. But did she and Scheana ever confront Ariana directly with the same things they've said behind her back? How does saying one thing during filming and another in interviews align with keeping it real? Honestly, I can't stand her. I never could. During the last reunion, Lala was the loudest voice throughout. But what was it all for? It certainly wasn't an honest defense of her friend. It felt more like a performance for the cameras. And her bringing up the lack of honesty now, it's ironic, considering our paychecks and livelihoods are what ultimately ruined the show. On the other hand, I just watched Lisa Vanderpump's episode of Call Her Daddy, and towards the end, the host suggests firing all the current cast and starting fresh with SUR employees. Lisa seemed to like the idea, but hesitated when pressed further. I think this approach makes sense and should have been considered earlier. With the break, they have time to cast, film sizzle reels, and negotiate contracts. The way Season 8 was handled felt abrupt. They should have gradually introduced new cast members in previous seasons, similar to how they integrated James and Lala. Additionally, they should have retained Dana and Charlie, who had good personalities and seemed to connect with the existing cast. During Season 8, it seemed like the only OG cast member they interacted with was Scheana, who was the sole person still working at SUR. If Lisa Vanderpump and the production team believe they can simply recast with new 20-somethings while continuing to produce the same outdated, uninspired content seen this season, the show may truly face cancellation. However, during the extended reunion, Schwartz's reaction when Andy asked him if he thought Katie was the one that got away was quite poignant. Despite being ranked as the second worst, there's still a sentimentality in watching their good days together. Their conversation was genuinely sweet and evoked some emotions in me. It's been a journey to muster any sympathy for Schwartz, but that moment struck a chord. He likely knows deep down that she's the one who slipped through his fingers, and it's a consequence of his own actions. Katie seems more authentic and at ease than ever before. My hunch is that Schwartz might exhibit traits of dismissive avoidant attachment style. Typically, when their partner stops trying to mend things and distances themselves, the avoidant might begin to miss the validation or the space it provided for self-reflection, leading to a genuine longing for the lost connection. Regarding Andy's question about his ex, it does feel like it could only elicit one response, especially on television. I believe Schwartz does regret the downfall of his marriage and genuinely loved Katie. However, it's doubtful he would have put in the effort to salvage it or treat her better, even if Katie had given him a chance. The way he loved her fell short, and I'm glad she finally prioritized her own self-worth and walked away. Additionally, I've been binge-watching Vanderpump Rules, starting from later seasons and working my way backwards. I just finished Season 4 and was genuinely surprised by the whole Jax or Lala storyline. It struck me as odd that this plotline was never mentioned again in later seasons, unlike other cast crushes or hookups that are often revisited in conversations, particularly involving James and Lala. For the first half of Season 4, the Jax or James or Lala saga was a major focus, and it was one of the most unexpected twists I've encountered in any season. Especially because in later seasons, there's very little interaction between Jax and Lala, so I never imagined there was anything between them. I've seen discussions online among fans suggesting that Jax and Lala didn't actually have sex because Jax was experiencing an outbreak. It adds another layer of complexity to the situation. Moreover, I've been wondering why Dana never returned as a main cast member. I quite liked her, so I assumed everyone else did too, and she'd make a comeback. Does anyone know why she didn't? I'm guessing either people didn't want her back, or she chose not to return herself, possibly due to how poorly everyone treated her. In one podcast, she mentioned that she had to quit her regular job, which provided health insurance, to be a server on the show. The lack of insurance and the lower salary from the show meant she couldn't afford the medication she needed, leading to a downward spiral. This, combined with the stressful reality show environment, likely exacerbated any existing mental health issues. She also mentioned that the screaming during the water tasting event gave her a panic attack the next day. I imagine she'd consider returning to TV if she were A, adequately compensated, and B, didn't have to film with Scheana or the Toms. Do you remember when Scheana surprised her with a psychic to communicate with her mom? It was inappropriate on multiple levels. Scheana didn't get Dana's consent before bringing someone into her home for such a personal purpose, and they weren't even close enough friends for Scheana to be present during such an intimate moment. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.